Sorry, Dee Dee. But he went and got an adjustment from Dee Dee. Now, I want you to picture that first adjustment. He didn't have 130 years of training. He had no years of training. You guys ever see pictures of people coming out of his office? They had a rag on their nose, and they walked out like that. He just had a wooden bench. He just slammed his hand into their spine, busted their nose, and bloodied it up. They just walked out, thanks, Dee Dee. He was cured of tuberculosis. No more tuberculosis. From the first chiropractor, the first adjustment. He goes back to his congregation, and he tells his congregation, you're not going to believe this, but this is, look. And his whole congregation goes to see Dee where school was started. That man is responsible for all of us sitting here today. Anybody know who this is? It's a long story, and I'm running out of time. I could do this all day long. But listen, this is my hero. This is my hero. 1894. She is dying of diabetes in Nebraska. She's got open wounds, pus coming out of her legs, stinking. She's married, got 5 kids, a big ranch. Goes to the doctor, and they say, well, you got what we call diabetes. There's no cure for it. In 1894. She said, well, we would cut your feet off, but you're going to die anyway. You got about 3 months if you have that much. So go home, take care of your affairs, and just prepare yourself to pass. That was what she was given. Her husband leaves her. She loses a child in the middle of all this, right? She's going through a little bit of stress, if you guys can imagine. And her sister calls her, said, hey, there's a new healer in town here in Nebraska in 1896. This is about when this happened, 1896. So one of the very first chiropractors. She calls her and says, hey, there's a new healer in town. Silva says, what's a chiropractor? See, we think running a practice is hard today. Could you imagine walking out and they've never even heard the word? She goes, she's got nothing to lose. She's going to die in 3 months anyway. She goes and starts taking adjustments. She gets adjusted twice a day, 6 days a week. For all of you that are afraid to adjust too damn much. Whatever. Twice a day, 6 days a week. Dying. She didn't just have diabetes. This you got to understand. Put yourself in her place. There's no cure. Her legs are rotting off. She gets adjusted because the chiropractor said, we think that the mid-dorsal area has something to do with the pancreas. Cured, 100%, no more diabetes. No more diabetes. She can eat anything she wants. Oh, and there's more. She goes to chiropractic school because she wants to take this new art, this new science, this new healing back to Nebraska. She goes to chiropractic school. She gets out. In 1919, picture this, 1919, she's seeing 100 people a day. She's the most successful chiropractor in the country. 1919 was a real crazy year for the United States. We had this thing that made COVID look like a mild cold. It's called the Spanish flu. People were just dropping like this. She had a driver driving her from house to house to house, and they would call ahead and said, don't lock your door. Dr. Silva doesn't have time to knock. And that woman would come busting through that door. She'd find somebody laying on a couch, and she'd take books under their head, and she'd toggle their atlas, and she'd run out the door. And she'd go to the next house and the next house, and she did that 7 days a week, 15 hours a day. She would go into the hospital. She'd go into the prisons. She didn't care. She was a chiropractor. Yes, she had a daughter named Ruth. Ruth goes to chiropractic school because her mama just setting the world on fire. She had her own train, the Ashworth Special, coming across Nebraska, bringing patients to her office in 1919. And I can't get a new patient. She had cancer patients living in her house because she would fly them in, and they'd stay at her house, and she was adjusting cancer patients, and they were getting well. They were getting cured through a chiropractic adjustment. She had a daughter named Ruth, went to chiropractic school. Met a man named Carl. EJ performed the wedding. They got married. They moved to Kansas City and started this little institution called Cleveland Chiropractic School. It's where I graduated from. I've got the whole research study. If you reach out to me, I'll send it to you. This woman is my hero. Anybody know who this man is and his lovely wife? Nobody? What about now? Still nobody? Herbert Ross Reaver. Has anybody heard of him? What the most jailed chiropractor? He to be honest, the truth is he wasn't the most jailed chiropractor, but he was in jail the most. They come to us, back then it was practicing medicine without a license. They would arrest him, take him down to the jail. He'd have to pay a $25 fine, hand it in, he'd go back home. He got arrested like 7 times. On the 8th time, they arrested Herbie, took him down. He said, no, I'm sorry, no, will not pay this fine. I will stand my ground for the principle of chiropractic. Let's hear it for Herbie. This man went to prison, hard labor, not jail, hard labor prison back in the 50s. He went to prison for 6 months. He had a wife and a little boy at home. He left them at home to stand for the principle. He went to hard labor prison for 6 months so you could sit here and listen to me. You could go to your office and make adjustments and make a lot of money and buy new cars because of that man. Raise your hand if you go to prison for 6 months for the principle of chiropractic. Not a hand better go up, because I know I wouldn't. I don't have that. My question to you is, why? Why did he do that? And we're going to talk about that. This man, Leo Spears, Denver, Colorado, he had a hospital, a chiropractic hospital with 3,000 beds. He was seeing so many people. There's videos of him on YouTube if you want to find it. It's like black and white. They got, back then, polio and all the different diseases were running rampant, and they had kids coming in with the cages around their legs and walking with walkers and all these different things. And then you see the videos and they're doing cartwheels and stuff. From chiropractic. You just said that physiology and anatomy hasn't changed. What's changed? He had kids coming in, pushed in wheelchairs, doing cartwheels out of that hospital. And finally, the medical profession finally got together, had enough money, and shut him down. But that is chiropractic. Listen, we can't know where we're going unless we know where we've come from. And this is what fires me up. I would sit at my desk in the morning and I would read my chiropractic history books and my green books, and I would study the giants that came before us. The real chiropractors, the real ones. And here's what I want to ask you guys. I want every chiropractor in here, and every chiropractic assistant, and everybody that's got anything to do with this profession, I want you to ask yourself this question, because this is what I ask myself. This is what fires me up. This is what drives me all across the world to come stand up here and yell at you guys.